Good morning and welcome. It's Monday, the 9th of May 2022, and I am Jenny McCormack from Jemini Crafts, and I'm sharing this on my Facebook page, doing a Facebook Live, but you may be watching this on catch up or on YouTube. So good morning and welcome. I hope everybody's had a nice weekend if you're watching this live or on the Monday. I thought we would feature a new stamp set this week in the new annual catalogue, and it's called, as you can see, Cup of Tea, and it's a really easy stamp set to use. It works entirely on its own. It does have matching coordinating papers, and it also has a set of dies. So if you have a die cutting machine, they will cut out a number of these elements. These can all be found in our annual catalogue on page 13. This is what the new catalogue looks like if you need to double check you've got the correct one. It's on page 13, and the whole suite is called Tea Boutique. And this collection consists of papers, cards and envelopes, and the stamp set and the dies. So while people are logging on, I will just show you the components for this. So we have the stamp set, and this is actually featuring in our coffee and cards this week. We used it on Friday just gone for some simple cards that we're going to do this morning, and it will feature this afternoon at our coffee and cards in Toaster, Northamptonshire. So there are 20 stamps in the set. You can see we have two different styles of teacups, and we have some foliage. We have some more here that will fit in the cup. We have a slice of lemon. We have the flowers that can fit onto the foliage, or you can stamp those separately. We've got a little leaf here. We've got a tag and some small little sentiments that fit in the tag. And then 3 larger sentiments: take care of yourself, let's get together soon, and a nice thank you. I love the script on these as well. So that is the stamp set. We have a series of dies that go with it, and I'll be using these later in the week. And as you can see, the die here cuts out the teacup shape, the tag, and all of the foliage and the flowers. We also have a die for the lemon, but some detailed for the slice, so we'll be using that later. And some small little tags here as well that you can use, and then hearts. And then we also have this die cut teacup with the detail on it. If you can see that on there. And so you could cut that out in one colour of card and lay it onto the other colour if you wished. So those are the dies. You can buy the stamps and the dies together for 43. That's UK pounds. And the cup of tea stamp set on its own is 22. Then we have these lovely teacup papers. These come as a pack of 48 6x6 inches sheets. So each one can make a full-sized UK standard card, but also you can cut this into strips, you could cut it narrower, there's lots of other things you can do. And they feature the teacups and the flowers. So I'll just flick through those quickly and then show you the reverse. Hi Kerry. Oh bless you, thank you so much. Poor Kerry, pausing issues on her internet. So we have the teacups here, and then some nice bright ones. And obviously with the dies you can cut out just patterned paper with your teacups. So if you've got some dotty paper, you could cut out some dotty teacups as well as patterned ones. We have this one with the lovely lemons, some light coloured foliage, and there's a nice mix of colours in these papers. So we have sweet sorbet, that's the new sort of reddy pink, crushed curry, parakeet party, which is that new green, Tahitian tide, one of the new blues, and starry sky and orchid oasis, the other two new blues. So it features those two of our new in colours and the parakeet party. So we have assorted smaller teacups. So these are great backgrounds for your cards. They'd also be great on scrapbooking pages, of course, if you went to an afternoon tea party. They would always also make great invites if you're having a tea party. And then we have some florals and foliage, quite delicate, more detailed. These lovely bright flowers on the sweet sorbet background. More teacups, quite vintagey looking. And then we have the flowers in the envelopes, and these coordinate with our cards and envelopes that we have. More detailed teapots, and then some florals. So those are the papers on one side, and then we have lots of patterns on the reverse. So I'll flip through these. So these would be great for die cutting the teacups with those different designs. So there's our crushed curry. Go. Parakeet party. Crushed curry again with stripes. Crisscross pattern. Dots. Little sort of 3 leaves. And then finally that one. So they've all got a slight vintagey style in that it's a sort of broken pattern rather than a, with a few exceptions obviously, rather than a full solid pattern. Okay. I'm just grabbing these cards and envelopes to show you. So this pack here comes as part of the collection. Just going to see how much they are because I can't remember. £9.50 for the Tea Boutique cards and envelopes, and you get 20 in total, 20 cards, 20 envelopes, and you have them in 5 different colourways, one each of our new in colours. So you've got the green, the red, the turquoise, the light and the dark blue, and they've all got this design on the front and then these little flowers on the reverse, and those are just the envelopes. There'll be nothing to stop you, because they're quite thick, cutting that off and using that as a card base if you wanted to. And then the cards themselves match those coordinating colours like so. So a great base, and they're quite strong, and they have white on the inside, so perfect for starter stamping. Right, let's tuck those away and get crafting. Okay, so we're just going to do some simple stamping for a Monday morning. So here's one that I created ready for our coffee and card, where we stamped the teacup, added the foliage and the flowers, and then used the little tag which I just fussy cut very easily with a pair of scissors. And then I've done this one with the lemons around the outside. and then this one with the other larger foliage around the outside. Okay, so just going to recreate this one to show you how quick and simple this can be. Let's move everything out of the way, give myself a bit of space. So I'm going to be using square cards that are 4 inches by 4 inches, just very slightly under. And you can get 3 of these from a piece of A4 card. And the way that I do that is I score down the centre line of the card at 10.5 centimetres, and then I cut the open end at 9.9 centimetres, and then cut 9.9, 9.9, and you get 3 cards like so from an A4 sheet. Okay, so I've got some basic white card that we're going to be stamping on. And I do recommend, if you have one, using a piercing mat for a little bit of sponginess underneath. I've got a separate piece of off-cut card that I'm going to use for the tag. So my colour choice for today is I'm going to use Orchid Oasis for the teacup. I'm going to use Parakeet Party for the greenery, and then Tahitian Tide for the flowers. So nice and simple. So we'll start with Orchid Oasis. I've got 2 card bases out because I haven't decided which card base I'm going to use. Let's grab the stripy cup. It on here. Let's get the foliage. Like so. And the flowers. Now the flowers come, these flowers come as 1 stamp. I have to say I'm quite tempted to cut them up. Maybe across there, but I haven't yet. And then we also have a larger single flower here that I'm going to use. This would be another really good one to do on the Stamparatus, because you could just literally line them up, stamp them one after the other. So here is Orchid Oasis. Yes, couldn't remember what colour I'd chosen then. And I'm going to put this a little bit further down so I've got space for a sentiment. Further up. There we go. So welcome to anybody who's watching who hasn't joined the right at the start. We're using a stamp set called Cup of Tea. Okay, now I've got the foliage that I'm going to do with the new Parakeet Party. So inking that up, the glasses are off. Just popping that onto there, like so. And then we're going to add the Tahitian Tide flowers. So what I'm going to do is stamp the line of flowers first, and then I will add some individual flowers on after. So there's various places that you can put these depending on where you want them to go. Mine like so, and then I'm going to add a few, just caught the edge on there, cool bit right, like so. So I was tempted to cut the flowers up so that I can have these smaller ones further round. Put one there. Like so. So you can add as many or as little as you would like. And then I'm going to stamp my little label that I'm going to cut out. Grab that. So I'm going to use the darker colour for the outline. Just going to stamp a couple. And then I've got It's Time for Tea, which I think is quite nice. Just can't thank you enough would also fit on there. Or Enjoy. Maybe I'll do Enjoy for something different. On there. And you really just want a small block when you're working with the smaller stamps, so that you're not picking up too much ink on the edges of the stamp, of the block, sorry. So this says Enjoy. I haven't used this one yet, so I'm just stamping it off first. I've got one going that way, and I'll stamp one that way. And then I'll decide which one I'm going to use. So, a pair of scissors, which I had ready. There they are. And I'm just going to fussy cut this. It's a very easy shape, literally just to cut around. And you can either leave a border, or you can cut it close to the line, entirely up to you. So I've done that one that way, so you can have it sort of across. So nice and easy. Like so. And you'll notice on this one here, I had the little tab coming off of the tea bag, and I just drew a line from the tea bag into the cup. And you could do that with our Stampin' Write markers, or just a pen if you've got the same colour. So I think I might put that one that side, because I quite like to see this here. Or I could do it that way. I think I'm going to do it that way because there's a lot of design here, but not much here. So I'm going to do it like that. I'm going to pop that up on some dimensionals, which I know I have at the ready because I got them ready. And now I can't see them. How does that even happen? Okay, let me put my glasses on. Just grab some more. Okay, now I think you could also stamp one of those small little flowers in the corner of there. I'm not going to do it for that one because I have just put the dimensional on, but let's just see if that would work. I think it will. Let's just try it and see. Hi Tracy, I hope you're well. and have had a nice weekend. I know you've taken your little puppy out and about, and she was very well behaved. Yeah, so you could definitely add a little bit of detail if you wanted to. But I'm going to stick with it this way because I want to sort of pop it in on the left hand side. You could also add a little bit of twine, for example, to make it look like that was attached, or a little loop or something. That would be something else that you could do. Okay, so let's pop that on there like that. And then I'm just going to put that onto one of our cards that I've cut out. So I've got both colours here. So I've got Tahitian Tide and I've got Orchid Oasis. I think I'm going to go for that because then that sort of evens out the amount of the lighter blue. And then I'll stamp an inner for that. So just adding some wet glue, just a scribble across the back. Check I've got the card opening the way that I want to. And pop that on there. Like that. Let's pop some flowers on here on the inside and also on our envelope. I think I'm just going to use that larger flower. And then the sentiment inside I'm going to put "take care of yourself." Let's pop that out of the way. So here is my inner. Let's just pop oops daisy. I'm going to put a piece of grid paper here. Like so. Go. And we do have a tiny little leaf which I might add into this. So let's pop that leaf on just to break that up a little bit. So we've got this one here. Put my finger in the ink pad. It is only Monday morning. Try not to put that anywhere else. Okay. So it makes a sweet little card. You could also do this design straight onto the cards and envelopes, I think. Obviously you have a little bit more space to play with then. So just popping some little dots of those leaves in. Okay. And then let's put the sentiment on, which is "take care of yourself." Let's pop that on there. and I'm going to do that in the Orchid Oasis, that same blue that I've used there, and that will bring everything together. Look at my nails, covered in ink. There we go, so that will be my inside, and let's just repeat some of that on our envelope. Now sadly Stampin' Up don't make this size of envelope, so I have a local supplier, but you could also make your own if you wanted to. Just swap these round and we're done. So nice and easy for a Monday morning. Okay, so I'm making sure I've got the envelope the right way by lifting the back up. Right, let's add our little flower. There we go. And a bit of greenery just to break it up. There we go, so there's the front of our envelope, and I might just repeat that on the back, and we're all done. So cup of tea is the stamp set. I'll say there's lots of, oh wrong colour, lots of bits that coordinate with it. So we have dies, we have papers, we have cards and envelopes. There we go. Let's move everything out of the way, put it together, and we're done. So I'll be featuring this through the week. This will be my stamp set of the week. I think I'm going to put some gems on those flowers as well, just to finish it off. So our in colour gems would work really well for this, because it's got the, well, it's got all 5 in colours, but it's got the 3 that we've used. But I've got some other ones just to hand. That I will use. Let's just use scissors. There we go, that's a bit better. Plus I use the darker ones. And a cat hair in some of the middles. And that's it. There we go. All done and dusted. It's a sweet little set, isn't it, Tracy? Very sweet indeed. Okay, so that was my sample one. Now I have added this bit of detail here, which actually came from the truck set, which is supposed to be the ground. This one I've placed very close to the bottom, so I don't necessarily feel the need to do that, but you could add that detail with a Samurai marker or a blends pen, for example. But there we go. Enjoy. Take care of yourself. So thank you very much for joining me this morning. I will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll be here at 10 AM again in the morning, because we've got a team meeting in the evening at 7. So I will be here at the same time tomorrow. Here's a couple of the other samples. And this is what we'll be featuring at Coffee and Card. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, evening, depending on where and when you're watching from. So do take care of yourself, as the teacup sentiment says, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.